Hey. That's not what I plan to do.
Hey.
But sometimes you're put on the spot. Welcome to 18 to 49.
Don't choke.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's okay.
It's a lot of pressure.
Well, no, I thought you were drinking some water. It sounds like you were about to choke.
No, I completed the water.
Oh, got it.
While you were... I wasn't talking while drinking water. That's, above my skill level.
Yeah.
But anyway, folks.
Yeah.
Welcome back. This is episode 51 of 18 to 49. And I truly hope that you took some time. I'm Alaia, by the way.
Yeah,
This is your first episode. And that's Brandi over there.
Hey, over there.
And I'm sure Brandi as well, really hopes that you listen to episode 50 because we had a blast putting it together. Mm-hmm. And I got to say, I listened to it a couple times.
Me too.
And our good friend Brian Shea, who has like a writer or producer or some kind of credit on this show.
That's it.
I talked to him yesterday and he actually told me like his 5 or 6 favorite moments from our show and his disappointment. He reiterated again about Earthquake Face
That's not
being included.
It's not that funny. So, the Earthquake Face is something you have to see, not hear. Because when you told me, I was like, oh, it's not that funny, bro. Not for top 15 or 16 moments. It's funny, but...
But we had a blast. And he got a kick out of the Details magazine thing because I think he said he missed that episode.
Oh.
So he heard that for the first time. So that was good, people. If you have not listened to episode 50, it's a great way to relive the highlights or catch up on some hilarious moments that you missed. But it was a great walk down memory lane for us.
Yeah, it's a good way to be introduced to the show as well, because I think you get a really good look at our personalities from those clips and what we bring to the table on the show. What I bring to the table is perversion.
Yeah. And speaking of walks down memory lane, I think Brandi wants me to kind of talk about what I did last night, which was not much, but I did kiss someone I kissed back in 2008.
Turn up.
So
turn up. This is a song I was going to sing for you. This is to Mechamonans. I don't know how to say his name. Mechamonans. Alaia had the club going up on a Tuesday. Kissing in the parking lot is groovy.
I heard that song for the first time on Saturday I didn't. It wasn't Saturday. It was Sunday. Jordan Renee, who's been on our show a couple times.
Yeah.
She was in LA.
Totally.
And of course, being Jordan, she hopped in my car and immediately took over the radio. So I heard all kinds of shiznit that I would never hear otherwise. Shiznit. She went to stations on my Sirius radio that have never been explored. And yes, she's like, you don't know this song? And it was that one you just sang. Yeah. It's weird how these things all happen at the same time.
I know it.
Yeah. I was out on a school night.
Yeah, you had it going up. And you got the podcast going up on a Thursday, too. This is the other song I was going to sing if you weren't going to tell that story. It was, we got the podcast going up on a Thursday. Talking to Alaia, her voice sexy.
That should be our new intro song. For real.
Don't tempt me. You know I'm quick to go to GarageBand and record some tracks.
Do it. It could be our exit.
I'm quick to go to GarageBand and record some tracks, and then I can put a little echo on my voice. Okay, that might happen here.
Oh yeah, episode 49. Episode 49 was kind of like the credits at the end of a Marvel movie or X-Men movie or whatever it is you talk about. Like, people needed to stick around for a nice little bonus on episode 49.
Oh yeah. That was a surprise to me. And a delight.
I know.
And a delight.
I like that RJ and I are both able to surprise and delight you occasionally.
You trick me. And I love it. I love being tricked. Not in the prostitute way, but the way that you guys trick me. Not like I'm like, pimp, but you know what I mean. It's so fun. It's such a surprise. I'm like, what happened? I gotta trick you sometimes, but I don't know how. And so I'm just gonna trick you on air.
Yeah. You can make up songs on the fly that are enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing, though. You know what I mean? That's my sweet spot. It's my sweet spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was, you pretty much, you turned that kiss into a song.
Yeah.
And I love that about you.
I'm going to do both. I'm going to do both on the never mind. Don't worry about what I'm going to create. I'm just going to make it happen.
So we're back to normal.
Right.
And apparently I watched more shows than Brandi did. Mm-hmm. So I've got some old stuff and some new stuff. A complaint. And I will say the one thing I didn't get to that I wanted to get to, I probably have a couple of complaints.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm excited.
But the one thing I didn't get to was Better Call Saul. I wanted to just give it a shot.
Oh, is that out already?
They started at the same night as the Grammys. Not that everyone watches the Grammys, but I just think it's a bad idea to kick off a show the same night as any like major sporting event or award show. But anyway.
Right.
So I watched some other new things. And so I did not get to Better Call Saul, but maybe I can report back on that next week.
I'd like to watch that as well. So I need to tune in to that one too.
Can we just talk about The Americans first? Can we just, now that you've watched it?
Yeah, no, so I watched both of those episodes. And for me, I thought they were great, but I'm a little confused about... So here's the problem. I probably should have gone back and watched the last episode.
You should have. That's why
2.
That's why I said I do that. I actually watch all of season 2, but it's most important to watch the one before so you can flow right in. It's too hard to remember when you wait 9 months.
Exactly. And that, but you know, oddly enough, so after I was watching the first episode, some of the, you know, my memory started to recall some of the events that happened in the finale, but I still was kind of at ends. And I think I'm a little confused about what they're necessarily trying to accomplish. Like, I get the piece about Paige, right? And the center wanting to contract her to be some sort of agent or something in a youth training program or whatever they have going on.
Yeah, they basically want to groom her to do like what her parents did, what Kerry Russell did.
Right. But the other piece that I'm a little confused about is why are they trying to get these names of these Muslims? Are they trying to get Muslims?
I have no idea. I don't know whose names they're trying to get. Okay. I just know that she's upset that she lost them.
Yeah, I don't get that part about the Afghanistan piece and the names and then the guy that was sleeping with the woman whose husband was the Secretary of State or official or something, and then what happened to her.
So with the Afghanistan piece, I believe that there were tie-ins to that last season. I don't understand it at all. And I think that if I better understood what was going on during that time period when you and I were not alive, I would understand why they were dealing with that. But I think even in the beginning of season 2, I don't know if you remember that scene, but it opens with Philip in like a cowboy hat talking to some dudes around a table.
Yes.
And he's talking about Afghanistan and everybody ends up dead. So there are tie-ins. I just don't understand how it ties in.
Right.
So I just roll with it. And then that chick, that blonde chick, somehow, even though I went back and watched season 2, somehow I keep forgetting that she's married to someone else. I thought she was like another, I don't know what I thought she was, but I didn't realize she was someone's wife and he was pretending to like her, same as Martha.
Right.
Basically Martha, like hot Martha that he didn't marry.
Right.
And again, even though I watched the season again, I guess I didn't pick up on where that really started. But I will say he's really hot when he's that character.
Yeah, I like him. I like that one the most.
Is his name Scott, I think?
Yeah, because I don't like really hot. Stewart or whoever he is. Clark when he's with Martha. Clark is like, yeah, no thanks. But I feel like so throughout the series, like you mentioned, they did give us a little taste. Because I remember seeing that guy that the woman was sleeping with. Like I remember when she was supposed to go and start attracting him and seducing him and all these things. And so they kind of had little snippets of that, but they never really gave us a full story as to why that was relevant. And so I think now that is becoming a main storyline, and I think that's where our confusion is coming from, because at first it wasn't even important, but now it becomes important. So maybe we need to go back and do a little history lesson and see what's going on so we can better understand how Afghanistan played into the whole piece.
We might. And let me tell you, oh my God, someone's upstairs doing crazy things. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Not crazy like sexual, but...
Somebody just text me about chicken.
Speaking of text, I was going to say our friend Abe, knowing that you and Brian Shea had not watched, he texted me directly.
Isn't he sweet? He is.
And we're in the same time zone. So I knew we're both watching The Americans. And during that one scene, let's just say suitcase...
Oh my!
He was like, I cannot handle this. I was like, I can't do this. So we kept texting each other like, I can't do this.
Well, and here's the thing too. So if they had not added the sound effects, I still would have cringed, but I would have been okay. But I honestly, like, that was so gruesome. I was just like, oh my God. How did they do? And they did
I was
it.
sure,
They did it so
I was
easily.
sure I was going to hear from you. And he thought I would hear from you too, but I didn't. I'm like, as soon as she watches this, I know I'm going to hear from her.
You know what happened? The reason you didn't hear from me is because I quickly had to get some water and ginger to settle my stomach because I was 3 steps away from vomiting, projectile vomiting in my room because I couldn't believe what I was watching. And I think I watched it late. Like, I woke up probably at like 2 a.m. or something, and I watched it at that time. And so I was not even thinking about grabbing my phone. I just could not believe. I was in total shock. Total shock. And the other piece that...
They were not messing around.
The whole thing, and the other piece that threw me off too was that whole Clark and Martha scene with the little book. You know, they're practicing some things. I was like, really?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, really? Come on, Martha. Are you serious?
I love this show.
Yeah, I was like, come on, Martha. Martha's getting her groove on. And then I feel so bad for Nina Sapadabada. They got her all up in that prison. And then Valdemir, whatever his name is, trying to get her out.
Oleg.
Okay, that's good. Oleg. And then I feel bad for Beeman, Detective Beeman, because let me tell you something. That wife's never coming back, Beeman. And now his boo is gone, too.
He only wants his wife back because Nina's gone.
Right. And he's got nobody. And
that's what we talk about when we all live tweet. We should just like, please, Stan.
Right, Beeman.
We know you just want her back because Nina's not here.
Right, but the wife is cute. I mean, the wife is really cute. She seemed very nice, and I don't understand why he couldn't express himself in such a way so that she would stick around. But she seems to have got her little new boo that's in some new agey woo-woo type of business. So, you know, she's living it up in that little beautiful home. Did you see that home with all the nice...
she met him at Est.
Yeah, nice, whatever.
I'm wondering if Est was a real...
The fact that you just threw it out there like that, like it's like a... She met him at Est, don't you?
She did.
Of course it's going to be awesome. When they were saying it, do you know what? So the first time they said Est, I was like, Eastern Standard Time? I didn't realize they meant like a convention or some sort of network marketing group.
I've just Googled it to see what it actually stands for, or if it was just really just Est. But it actually stands for something.
What is it?
Erhard Seminars Training. It's a 2-weekend course known as the Est Standard Training. The purpose of Est was to transform one's ability to experience living so that the situations one had been trying to change or had been putting up with clear up just in the process of life itself. God, that so sounds like their relationship.
Well,
but
it didn't work.
But apparently it dissolved in 1981, so I don't think that Stan is going back anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they changed. Oh, snap. Oh.
What happened?
Have you heard of Landmark Education?
Yes, but I don't know why I've heard of Landmark Education.
Est is Landmark. So it was sold in 1991. And the new company formed. And the new formed company was Landmark. I know people who have done Landmark, and I used to work for like a Landmark instructor. This all makes so much sense now. Landmark Forum.
Landmark is woo-woo type of business, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
that's what I said. I've heard of this. Okay. Fantastic.
Oh my God, now we know because of the Americans. Now we know how it started.
Let me tell you something. This is why I love this show. I love this show and I love Vikings. You all laugh at me, but when I do my top 10 post of why you should watch the Vikings, you won't be laughing anymore.
Nope.
But the reason I like Vikings and the reason I like the Americans is because not only do they give us wonderful writing, action-packed moments, sometimes some slow introspective moments, but they are historically accurate. So I can learn things. I like learning all the time because you know what? Once you stop learning, you stop living.
Well, I told you and our other
friend. Sorry.
That's a long hashtag.
Well, I mean, SLSL. Slesla. Hashtag that.
Yeah, okay. Try that. Well, I told you and our friends that I saw a commercial for Vikings, so now I can no longer make fun of you because that show looks like it's the truth. And I love the line. Every time I see the commercial, I always repeat with her where she's like, I had a dream that I laid with a man that wasn't my husband, and it was you.
Yes. And let me tell you something. Y'all are sleeping on Ragnar Lothbrok. Ragnar Lothbrok is, I think he's Australian, and he's delicious. Period. That's going to be one of my things. Delicious Australians. Okay? Fresh off the Barbie. I did that awkward silence because that was really strange what I just did there. So yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait for you to start watching.
So it will be on my list this year, but when I realized that, I had to let you know. And by the way, you still need to watch Mad Men when you're done with The Wire, because you promised.
I know that. And this is the thing that I thought about, because I'm doing so poorly with The Wire. And you know why I'm doing so poorly with The Wire? Because the universal efforts of getting me to watch television shows are saying, guess what? You're supposed to be watching Mad Men, so you're never going to succeed at watching a series until you watch Mad Men. And that's why I'm not doing. I'm only on episode 3 or something of season 1. I created the dang calendar, and I'm not even close to being. I'm thinking I was on the can't get enough track. I'm like, oh yeah, this can't get enough track all day, baby. Now I'm like not even so freezy. I'm like so sleazy, slow, or whatever. I just can't even give the program. So difficult. So difficult. What was I about to tell you, though? It's something important. It is... Oh, Vikings Season 3 premiere is Thursday, February 19th, 9 o'clock. Get your life. Because I will.
Oh, boy.
What else did you watch? Oh, my God. Why didn't you lead in with this?
What?
We have not had an opportunist... That's me making fun of someone. We have not had an opportunist to talk about one of the most important shows that has ever aired on television in our lifetime.
That happened so long ago because it took you so long to watch.
Yes, because I couldn't do it.
And then we had episode 50, so I actually honestly forgot that we didn't talk about it.
Are you serious?
Well, because you and I texted about it, and I had to talk to other people because you hadn't watched it.
I know.
So if you're clueless out there, listeners, we're talking about Parenthood.
Yeah.
Brandi didn't watch it immediately, so we couldn't talk about it. And then we had episode 50.
I was in denial. Well, no.
God.
So it can't. No.
I was just healed. I was healed, and now you're dragging me back down.
Well, no. Here's the thing. Do you remember? So we couldn't talk about it because that episode 50 was the day that it came out. The final episode.
No. Episode 49 was the day it came out.
Okay, but then episode 50, we didn't have a chance to talk. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. So, hey, you got to bring it in.
You just brought me back to a sad place.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I'm sad that it's over.
Oh my God. Are you kidding?
It's weird, and it's weird now to go on the DVR and go, and I know this sounds strange, but you and our regular listeners know how weird I am. There was always a conflict. There was always a conflict on Thursdays because Parenthood was at the same time as like Scandal in the past. And then it was at the same time as How to Get Away with Murder. So every week I had to resolve the conflict on my DVR. And now there's no conflict to resolve.
No.
Because there's no Parenthood.
Your conflict resolution skills are going to go down the toilet.
I'm really bummed. Like, as I was watching it wrap up, and as I feel every week usually, I want to be a Braverman, as crazy as they are.
Let me tell you something. I expected it. If you recall, I said several episodes ago that I had an idea of what was going to happen, and it did. That's what I text you. I cried so hard on that episode. I was a mess. That's why I didn't watch it immediately, because I knew I was going to be a mess, and I knew I had things that I needed to do. I knew that I was not going to have the time to lay in the bed like I needed to, curl up in the fetal position, and just think and reflect on the beauty of the Bravermans. That's alliteration for those fans out there. So I had to postpone. And then also, just from an emotional standpoint, I just wasn't ready. I was not ready to let go of them. I'm still not ready. I may go back and say, forget this whole Wire business and watch all of Parenthood, just because that's what my life needs. But I made a commitment to the group, so I'm not going to do that. And then I made a commitment for Mad Men, so I'm not going to do that. So maybe I'll watch Parenthood after I watch The Wire, Mad Men, and then Parenthood will come in. Because I got to go back. I don't even remember what happened in the first. Like, I don't even know if I started watching when it first came on. So I got to go back.
I'm pretty sure, I feel like I didn't watch it in the very, very beginning, but I was able to go back. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I watched it close enough to the beginning that it was easy for me to go back and watch things. But I very well, because I remember Sarah moving back to the house and bringing her kids. Who knows? I might have been there since episode 1, because I do watch SVU. So it's very likely that I could have like seen a commercial and saw who the cast was. Mm-hmm. And like made a date to watch. But I definitely know that I've seen the first episode. I remember how it starts. So I think I was with it for the whole ride. And it's a great show. I really think our listeners who have not seen it and who are not doing the Wire challenge right now should watch Parenthood.
Yeah, totally. Totally. And the episode, I mean, they wrapped it up beautifully. The moments
they did,
that
but I hated that song at the end. That was an awful cover to me anyway. I muted it.
I thought it was beautiful.
I watched the last scene on mute, but I did watch the last scene a couple times.
Because you had to because then you had to catch up and you're like, what happened to that person? I love the grown up versions of things. That's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to ruin it for anyone. I love the grown up version of things. I love seeing how their story. I was just like, oh my god, they came back. This is me during the episode. I was like, who is that? I was literally crying. Like, I was crying. I don't even have a way to describe the level of tears that were flowing down my face.
Did you watch the deleted scene?
Excuse me?
There's a deleted scene where Amber's dad, and this really isn't a spoiler because I wouldn't have been at the end. You know that scene when it's kind of like 4 generations? It's the grandma and Sarah and Amber. Mm-hmm. And the grandma's like, you need a glider. What they cut out of that scene was that Amber's dad shows up. And like Sarah had invited him, and he brings a gift and he holds his grandson and he says that he wants to be in his life and be a better grandfather than he was a father. And yeah, they cut that scene
that's
for
pretty.
Time.
Yeah, that's nice though. But they still
and they also cut a scene that would have made one of those end flash forwards make sense. And I can tell you what that is off the air.
Okay. Because I did have a little bit of confusion. It's one of them. Is it about, can you tell me the couple that it's about? Or the person it's about? That one.
Amber.
Okay, thank you. Because I was like, WT freak. What am I watching here?
Yeah, there's a scene that explains that.
Okay,
that was also
because I was like, who? I was like, where is she? You know what I mean? Like, because they didn't give us enough. So I was like,
they didn't give us enough.
It was like, where is she? And then I was like, who are these other people? I didn't even know. I was like,
the thing is,
a potluck?
I respect them for not dragging it out for 2 hours and giving us like a bunch of fluff. But as many people were saying, like, it deserved a longer send off. So at the tail end, even though that last scene was really good, it did feel a little rushed, you know, like,
yeah, they could have gave us a little bit more time there. Because
it was
I
like
got
wedding montage.
Right. Well, and I got confused because it was like wedding montage. This one ruined it. Yeah. Cause graduation, then another, and I was like, wait, but the graduation really is a montage. I was like, wait a minute. I got confused between what was really a montage, what was a part of the main plot. I had no idea. And so I went back and watched that a couple of times just so that I can understand, but I still had questions about Amber.
Yeah.
And I didn't think Drew's mustache was that bad. You really hated that stash.
It was like a little weasel. I guess that's their attempt to make him look like
he grew up
a grown up. I don't know.
Weasel stash.
You look like a weasel. But I do love that he and Mae Whitman are like roommates and best friends in real life. I love that.
Are you serious?
That's what Instagram and Twitter tells me.
That is so cool.
Yeah, they're like besties. I love it.
Wait. Are they besties or are they besties?
I'm pretty sure they're like besties. He probably is like a kid brother to her.
Besties. Okay,
I don't think she's our age, but she might be like a couple years younger.
Yeah, I feel like she's like 26 or something.
She's been around for a bit. Like, she started acting when she was pretty young.
She was like,
oh my God, you're so right. 26. Mm-hmm. Right on the money.
No, I looked it up a while ago. There's some things that I do know and remember. Names, not so much. Facts, I'm pretty good with those sometimes. So that's Parenthood.
So that was Parenthood.
Yeah, I like how we both like, so that's Parenthood.
It's sad.
It is so sad. And what is going to replace it? Fresh Off the Boat? I don't think so. I didn't get a chance to watch it. Did you?
I watched it, but no.
Was it funny?
That's not even the same network. You know what's going to replace Parenthood? The Slap.
Let me tell you something. So I have been waiting for you to bring that up because I didn't want to. I didn't want to talk about it because I get so disgusted every time I see that preview. And then they've got, what's her face in it? Not Thandie Newton. Avatar woman. What's her name? Avatar lady. The woman that was in Avatar. Black woman. Why don't you know it?
Avatar?
What?
What? I thought you said the Avatar woman.
Yeah, the woman who was in Avatar, the movie with the...
Zoe Saldana?
Is that her? No, that's not her. Sorry, that's not that woman either. Maybe it is Thandie Newton. She was in Beloved.
I think that was Thandie Newton.
Yeah, look at me knowing her name and then second guessing myself. God dang it. I'm on a roll today. I should stop saying, you know what? I should stop second guessing. This self-doubt is what made me question the name. I should have just went with it. Learn a lesson. Learn a lesson from that, everyone.
And I will give them this. It's just a miniseries. They should be clear that it is. It's based on another miniseries.
Okay, they didn't say that.
They're saying series premiere, but other people I've said say that it's a mini series. So that's what I'm hoping.
Because that is the most ridiculous show.
Yeah, so I'm hoping it's limited episodes, kind of like a Grace Point or Fargo or whatever. I'm on the website and it still says series premiere. But yes, that is Thandie Newton.
Okay, good. Look at me. So yeah, the thing I don't understand is...
It's got great people. It just looks like a stupid concept.
And that's the thing that pisses me off about it. It's got some really good people in it, because I think Thandie Newton's a pretty good actress. So it's got some good people in it. Some of these other people, I've seen them before. I don't really know their names. Not going to bother myself with that. But the point is... You know, I saw them. I was like, looks like this is a pretty good cast. But wait, and there's like, and then it happens.
Right? And we see it happen.
Then it's like, what the slap? And I was like, okay, I
scrolled down some more. And yes, it is a mini series. They just shouldn't have called it the slap. I think that
they should
puts people off right away. And I know everyone in this cast except for the hottest guy. But I've seen him on something else.
Yeah, they should have called it like...
They didn't have to call it the anything.
They could have just called it slap.
There's something about, like, the slap that's very off-putting.
Yeah, I think maybe they just call it slap. No, even slap. Maybe they just call it, like, child abuse. Or, no, that's still bad.
It's their job to be creative, not ours.
Don't touch my child. Or, let's see what else. You gotta be kidding me.
Ew. If you or our listeners go to nbc.com/the-slap, I'm looking at the cast photos, and Penn Badgley is in the cast. He was on Gossip Girl. He has one of those, like, half haircuts. The same haircut Rosario Dawson had in Top 5, where it's shaved on one side and long on the other half.
I'm finished.
Now, I can say, that looks bad on women. It looks worse on men.
I feel like on women, I will accept it. I don't like it, but I will accept it. On men, don't even think about it.
But, you know, bad on NBC for calling this show the slap.
Do you remember, though, that haircut used to be the Kurt Cobain? And do you remember it wasn't just one side, it was all around? Do you remember that?
It works for Kurt Cobain. He did it right.
It was like all around the perimeter of his head, and then he had the little piece at the crown of the head that flopped over. Do you remember it? And that was acceptable. And then guys
I just sent you a picture of the awfulness, by the way.
Okay, guys had that haircut, and that was okay. But the rest of it, that's not acceptable. So the slap, I'm not going to be watching that. And then everyone's telling me I need to watch Empire. I haven't started watching that yet. I will watch it for the people. But I think it's silly.
Empire was my complaint.
Okay.
Nobody told me that Malik Yoba was on Empire. If I had known... Yes, if I had known, I would have given it a shot, because I loved New York Undercover, one of my favorite shows of the 90s.
Yes.
So if someone had said Malik Yoba, or if they had hyped him more on the show, maybe his role was small. But if I had known before 2 days ago that he was on Empire, I would have made a greater effort to watch. So It's on my list of things to watch, but I just found out he was on the show.
Huh. Well, that's disappointing that you didn't know that, and that I didn't know that either. Maybe someone said it and I kind of ignored it because I heard the word Empire and I was like, I'm not going to do it. But I'm going to do it
We're like,
now.
What is this Hustle and Flow TV edition?
Exactly. I was like, because you remember when we first started talking, number one, they didn't hype it up enough before it came out. Do you remember? Because we had no idea, and we were talking about it, and we were saying, have you heard about this Empire thing? And we're like, yeah. And then you brought it up and gave me more information. And then I was like, isn't that just Hustle and Flow? And we both agreed that, it's Hustle and Flow Part 2, the sequel, made for TV version.
People seem to be getting their lives from it.
They love it. Everyone, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I saw maybe like one clip of it the other day as I was coming into the house it was on. And I saw like a little clip, and it was the older brother fighting the younger brother. And I think one of the brothers is gay. And then one of the brothers is some kind of like, I guess maybe, I don't know, involved in some interesting activities.
I know someone gay is on the show. That's like a storyline, a father-son conflict.
Yeah. And so anyway, I'll check it out. I'll watch that. I'll put it on the list. I mean, I'm finding that there's not enough time to watch all these television shows, but
no, there aren't.
Anyway.
Well, I did. You kind of alluded to Fresh Off the Boat, which I did make an effort to watch last night. And I've got to say, Fresh Off the Boat is as funny as I wanted Blackish to be. Like, I really like Fresh Off the Boat. It's really funny.
Okay.
And you'll love it because it takes place in the 90s, and they use like the real song. So there's all kinds of like 90s music that comes back.
Okay.
And it's this little Asian kid who's like obsessed with hip hop. So
I love it.
There's like he's like in an Old Dirty Bastard video on the episode that
Here's the piece that I kind of missed though. There's been like 4 episodes already.
And yes, because they did 2. Yeah, they did 2 and 2.
Okay. I was about to say, because I know I'm not sleeping on the game that much.
No.
Okay.
They've done 2 each week.
Okay, got it. Just to get everybody excited.
Yeah.
See whether or not they're going to renew it, right?
Yeah, and I missed the first 2, but even coming in, because my DVR wasn't set, but coming into the last 2, it was very funny, and I'll just find them on Hulu or on demand or something. But
yeah, you can go on the website.
I like it. I think it's pretty funny.
Okay, good. Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, I have not been watching Blackish. I've been missing it. I need to get caught back up on that one. I don't know why. It's just kind of been easy for me not to I don't know. Maybe I've been doing something on Wednesday. Anyway.
And it was off for a while. You know, ABC did their thing.
Okay, that's right. So then I just got to get back on. I don't have a rhythm anymore for all these things, so I need to get back with the program.
But I think Fresh Off the Boat is fresh, and it gets to stick with it for now.
Fresh Off the Boat is fresh. Oh, fresh. Americans get to stick with it too. Sorry.
Of course.
Let me go back with the scale. Someone made the comment that we don't use a scale enough. Our own writer.
I can only imagine who said we don't use the scale.
Our own writer. They would like to have heard more about the scale. So anyway, stick with it on Americans. Sad to see it go for Parenthood. It needs to be back.
Yeah, we can't stick with something that's gone.
I feel like they need to make a Parenthood movie. I would go watch that movie.
I would too. Maybe they will later.
Made for TV movie or something.
Yeah, Fresh Off the Boat. Stick with it.
Stick with it from you. I need to watch it from me.
So
Empire, we need to watch it.
We need to watch it. Better Call Saul, we need to watch it.
Oh God.
Reviews to come. Now, do you have a show to toss in, or should I go into a rant?
I watched Scandal. Hey everybody, I thought Scandal was great. Sorry if you hated it. I thought it was actually pretty good. That's something I didn't see coming, and I enjoyed it. It was a good plot.
I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it as much as I normally enjoy Scandal, which is minimally. But what else is there to watch on Thursday? The thing that annoys me, I guess, is like how boldly center of the universe she is.
Yeah.
That's, I think, what rubs me the wrong way. Like the whole, like, launch 1,000 ships BS. I'm like, really? Really?
Yeah.
That's where it gets me. Like, I'm kind of watching, and it's like, he'll never blah, 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 stop looking for me. And I'm like, okay, well, isn't that nice?
He'll go to war for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I get that piece of it. That piece of it was pretty far. Well, who knows if it's far-fetched? I don't know what these presidents have done for these women. I mean, I think that could be true. I mean, you know, these women, these magnetic women, you know, there's power in the... Okay, yeah. I'm not going to go there. But you see, there's a little PP there.
We're going.
Yeah, there's a little PP there. So, yeah, I'm just saying, I mean, you know, you never know what these people are doing. But I thought that it wasn't...
The twist at the end of the first episode, though,
yeah, that's what I'm about to give you. I was like, the twist was pretty good. And then I'd like to see Jake in action. I thought they were going to kill him off. He's still alive. I love that. And so now I'm excited.
Yeah. So, you know, like I said, I enjoyed it as much as I normally do. But it annoyed me tremendously with those couple of things. So I want that to end already.
So they can go back to solving. I mean, can we go back? Yes. I love when she was fixing things. Can we go back to some sort of...
That's what I'm saying. She's not fixing anything.
Yeah, or corruption in the government, and she's going to go and fix... Let me tell you something, and this will lead into my next point. I am starting to enjoy How to Get Away with Murder. And I know there was a question. You raised a very good question. Is the show going to be focused around the murder of the crime? And my thoughts, though, are this portion of it, after they stop all these flashbacks, now it's become interesting because we're seeing that, of course, Annalise has some ideas about, you know, vindicating this whole thing, but she's about justice, though. And so you see her, of course, answering the call of justice and then making... So I think even... And the students, for me, became a little less annoying this past couple of episodes. I seem to enjoy them a little bit more. They still are slightly annoying, but they're not as annoying.
They're not as annoying.
Yeah. And
How to Get Away with Murder, I agree with you. It's getting better.
Much better.
I still wonder, though, what happens in season 2. Like, I love the way season 1 is now starting to unfold. Like you said, now that we're past the flashbacks and all that.
Right.
But now I'm wondering what happens. And they gave us a little flashback. They gave us a winter break flashback.
Yeah, just so you can be current.
Right.
You can remember what happened.
I just wonder, you know, like, what happens in season 2? Like, do they take on another case? Does somebody else get themselves in trouble? Like, I just wonder how they continue it past this, or if we're going to get something and find out what we thought happened didn't. Like, I don't know. But
I think there's a couple ways they can go.
But I care enough to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy it.
I think it's good. I think they have several moves they can make, and I think they could be very smart moves. but I'm just going to wait and see. I have my own ideas about where they could take the show. But of course, I'm not a writer on the show, so I'm just going to keep that to myself here. But I think they have a couple, probably like 3 or 4 different moves they can make that I think would keep us all intrigued. But we'll see. And I'm not Owlboy. Owlboy is now, I'm starting to like Owlboy. He's not craning that neck as much. He's not looking as confused. He's giving me some more expressions on his face. I mean, everybody seems as if they've become more comfortable on set, more comfortable with one another. They're really feeling into their characters.
I think my favorite is the dark-haired girl. Everyone else still annoys me a little bit.
Yeah, that girl's pretty good.
She
told on him. She told on him too. She's like, I had to tell on you guys. You guys are idiots. You're gonna get us in trouble.
I loved that.
You guys are gonna get in trouble. And I love how Annalise became me when she went to that hotel room and ate all those treats and laid in the bed and slept and barely opened up the curtains. Haven't you had those moments where you're like, Lord Jesus, what am I gonna do with myself? Let me just go somewhere and lock myself away.
I have those moments way too often.
You're like, let me lock myself away, wear the delicious treats. She was like hitting some shots, though. I was like, Annalise, slow down on that vodka, boo. And, you know, she opened up that refrigerator, and she's all into that wet bar. And I'm like, boo, don't you know how much that costs? But it's Annalise. So there's no cost that's important here. But, yeah, so I watched that. And then I've missed. So let me tell you what I've missed, because maybe you all were expecting me to talk about this. I missed Love at First Sight first year. I haven't caught up on that. I need to get current. And what else did I watch that I usually talk about? I think that was it. 19 Kids Accounting is coming back. Vikings is coming back. Yeah, and I think that's it for me. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I haven't watched Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I kind of talk about that sporadically. And then I think I also committed to not watching it anymore because I thought it was silly. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. I might, if there's time, maybe I'll go to it. But if there's not time, don't expect me to watch that. But I am going to be watching 19 Kids and Counting when the premiere comes out. They've given us so many teaser clips. So excited to see what happens. You're not that excited about it. You could care less about the Duggars, but I'm all in it.
It's funny that I'm seeing commercials for all your shows now because they were like, the family is growing.
It is.
19 Kids and Counting. And it's like I've literally seen commercials for almost everything you watch.
Yes. And now you're like, maybe I should. No, 19 Kids and Counting. Come on, Alaia.
No.
Okay, Vikings at least.
Yeah.
You made the commitment to watch Vikings last year as well, and you just never got around to it.
Yeah, but now that I've tasted and seen,
I'm telling you, thought it was because I'm sitting here and I'm saying these names and everyone's laughing. They're like,
well, it sounds ridiculous.
Yes, this is so stupid. Just look at some of that footage. And I told you guys, it was like, am I watching History Channel or HBO? That should have gave you a hint. Maybe I need to do better with my explanations of the show.
But, I think part of the issue is I think of the History Channel as documentaries and things like that. And they're not all, and I don't mean school level documentaries. I remember in college, we actually watched, which was funny at my Christian college that didn't want to talk about anything. In one of my classes, we actually watched The History of Sex, which was like a really great History Channel documentary. And so I think of it more of stuff like that. So the first thing I watched on there that was scripted was Bonnie and Clyde, and that was awful. And so I don't think of the History Channel and scripted programming. So it was a lot for my head to get wrapped around when you were talking about History Channel and Vikings and names I'm not going to try and pronounce. It was just like too much for me.
Yeah.
But now I've tasted and seen. So
I'm telling you, when you go back, and I'm telling you, man, you're going to be like, what in the world have I been missing? And it's really good. I'm telling you, it's really good writing. But I mean, there's some moments in it that's very like the Americans like the Blood Eagle thing. You're going to be like, are they really about to do this on TV? And they do it on TV. Anyway. So yeah, that's all I have this week, I think. So I watched, regrettably, and I think of this about as much about this show as I do about Scandal, but I watched Being Mary Jane. Why
because
did you do
I
that?
watched last season.
What?
And God, it is awful. And I love when people are like, oh, I get my life from this. And I am so Mary Jane. And BT has this whole segment about how like, I am Mary Jane. And I think it's supposed to be the positive things, like super successful. And these women wish they were her because she's super successful. She's a newscaster, blah, 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 has a beautiful house and all these beautiful men that like want her. But I'm like, to me, when you say you're Mary Jane, I think that you are chasing after a man that doesn't want you and you're afraid that he'll leave you. So you've frozen his sperm incorrectly, by the way.
What?
You're sleeping with a married man and you have a screwed up family. Well, good for you for being Mary Jane. Enjoy that. Like, that's what I think. when they would do those stupid segments. And again, they want people to relate to like the gorgeous, like luxurious life of Mary Jane. I'm like, she makes some really poor life decisions. And in the last episode, which was like the premiere of season 2, she like chewed out all her friends, and it was very nasty. And it was just like, you're not even likable. There aren't enough characters on the show where if you don't like the main character, you'll keep watching. Like, I think Mad Men, in contrast, like Don Draper is not a good guy. He's this guy who leads a double life and is a philanderer, but you're interested to see what he does next. And there are other characters on the show that you can kind of identify with or whose storylines you want to see. With Being Mary Jane, it's so centered on her that if you don't like her, it's very unpleasant to watch. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what makes Scandal hard, because I think back when they were fixing things on Scandal, you got pulled away from Olivia a little bit, and it was about the case, or why did I call it despair? What is the defiance?
I was like, excuse me? I was like, she is in despair. That is true.
But you know what I mean? Like with Scandal, at least back then, you got pulled away from Olivia and you could get lost in like what was going on and all these other things. But when it's so centered on like the one character, right, it's hard to pull away when they're unlikable. And so Being Mary Jane, I find like very difficult because she makes all these bad decisions. She's not a good person. I mean, her redeeming qualities are that she's well-spoken and pretty and has a nice job. But she's like, she makes poor life decisions. She's not good to her friends. Like so there's like nothing redeeming about her outside of her looks and her job.
Why is this a show though? Like, why are we watching this? Like, what's the
don't
point?
Know.
Okay.
I don't know. And that's why I find it so interesting that there's this whole campaign of like, I am Mary Jane. I don't think it's a good move.
So basically it's, I am a woman who is valued because I have a nice job and a luxurious home and men want me. So that's why I'm Mary Jane. So that's me.
That's what I get at.
I treat other women poorly who are supposed to be my friends. Mm-hmm. And my confidence and my value, I'm validated because these are the external things that I have.
Yes. Like it got to the point last week where this guy didn't want her, and they have mutual friends. That's probably how they met.
Perish the thought a man doesn't want you. Oh God. At the
end of season 1, she gave him his sperm back and was like, have a nice life.
Wait a minute. Why are you?
Because she wants to have a baby eventually.
But why are you walking around with men's sperm though? Like, is it just at her house in the refrigerator or something?
Basically, she somehow
being Mary Jane is being Mary creepy. Okay, she's weird.
Like, I forgot how she got it, but she got it and froze it incorrectly, as her doctor friend told her when she found out and was outraged. But what I love is so season 2 kicks off, and at the end, she was off with this guy. So she has her friends over for a dinner party, and it all goes to shit. And she starts ragging on because she gets drunk. She rags on their marriage and, says her husband doesn't let her go out and whatever, blah, blah, blah. So then she meets her friend at a store to apologize, supposedly, under the guise of apologizing. Mm-hmm. And so when she meets her friend, she's like, so has he said anything about me? Why isn't he talking to me? Is he still seeing what's-her-face? How'd he meet her? And she's like, okay, so did you want to apologize or did you just want to find out about him? And the friend gets pissed off and leaves, which I would do. This crazy woman goes to the friend's house, interrupts dinner that she and her husband and children are having to start asking about this guy. Came up into their house.
Can I tell you what I think this show should be called?
Crazy stalker bitch?
No, this show should be called The Slap. Because this is a slap in every woman's face.
It is.
So would they have put a show about a man who is freezing women's eggs and is the best? I mean, I guess. I don't know. This is, to me, it's just extremely demeaning. And I'm Gabrielle Union. I respected her because she's on the show, yes?
For a minute. Yeah, okay. She is Mary Jane.
Oh, my God. Okay, so I respected her in films that she did with my boyfriend, my former boyfriend, because I'm committed to Idris right now. My former boyfriend, Morris Chestnut, and she's been in some wonderful films with Taye Diggs, and she's done some things like this. And those films are are extremely respectable, and I think they portray women. And some of these, I can't say in this, I can't I can't vouch for 1,000%, 100% of the show and movies, but I mean, they're positive, They're not demeaning. And I mean, this is exploitation.
It is, and what also upset me about that particular scene was that, she's going at it and her husband is like, it's not our business. If you want to know, talk to the guy. If you want to know, talk to the guy. And what got me was that, like, the girlfriend, Mary Jane's girlfriend, like, she wouldn't do anything. She was just kind of like, I can't. And Mary Jane's pressing. And it's the husband that puts his foot down. And, like, the husband picks up the phone and calls the guy and is like, hey, Mary Jane's here. She wants to talk to you. And it's like the husband who takes action. So it's so bad to the point that, like, they can't even make the women do the right thing. And this show was created by a woman. Like, it's just,
Guess what I would do? If Mary Jane came to my house, I
wouldn't have let her in.
She would have been Mary Jane. It would have been called being Mary Jane outside my house. She would have been Mary Jane outside my door on the stoop. You're not coming to my house with that BS while my little children are in there eating them. To me, that's just so... Anyway, I'm done on Mary Jane. I can't even talk about it. Don't watch it ever again. Don't watch it ever again. That show is poison. Oh, no. Even they don't like Mary Jane. Oh, my God. They're upset that you're watching Beer Mary Jane. Oh, my goodness. Our mascots, our 18 to 49 podcast mascots are very angry about Mary Jane.
Gunshots and puppies. That's what we've got.
Yeah. Gunshots and puppies. All the class and all the trash.
That is the name of today's episode.
Gunshots and puppies.
That's how we come up with our episode names. It's just on the fly. None of this is planned. None of it.
If you haven't learned that by now. Oh, so did you have any more rants? Because I had something funny to tell you.
Nope, that's it. That's all I watched.
Okay. So this is going to make you laugh hysterically, I think. So this is kind of popular culture related. It really isn't, but I'm trying to figure out how to make it. Anyway, so I'm chilling out one morning. Yeah, probably like 6 a.m. or something. And I'm doing the whole, which I shouldn't be doing, but I'm doing the whole looking at my phone, going through Facebook before I get up, trying to come to basically from waking up pretty early. And I'm scrolling through my emails. And you know how Google, of course, has decided they're going to categorize your emails for you. So you got your social folder and your promotion folder and all that. So I got a notification on the main folder that was like, you have a social note from Twitter. And I was like, okay. So I haven't turned off the feature that the notifications when you have a new follower or something. So anyway, I'm like half asleep, half awake, mind you. And so I'm scrolling down and I see the Twitter message and it says you have a new follower. And I just see the word Idris. And so I immediately scream. Okay. I scream and I'm like, oh my God. It has finally happened. I knew that if I just remained diligent and if we did these campaigns, one day he would take notice. And then I started to think, did he listen to the show? I started going through this whole story in my mind of all these things that Idris has done because he is following me now on Twitter. So maybe he listened to the show. Maybe he saw the love notes to Idris. Maybe this, maybe that. Maybe he heard Brittany Danielle say this about meeting him, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I thought, before I get further down this rabbit hole of excitement, let me open up this email. So I open up the email and guess who follows me? No offense to this man. Someone named Idris Bolton. Do you know the amount of disappointment that I experienced? I was like, number one, who is this? Who is Idris Bolton? And then to go on, and I'm sure he's probably a wonderful person, but then to go on, like Idris Bolton is like a father of 3, entrepreneur, love relationship coach, storyteller, speaker, author, kind of thing, and like lover of love kind of person. And I'm just like, so this is how you treat me. And then I think he unfollowed me. So then it's just worse. But shout out to Idris Bolton, if you're listening. This is for you.
He's not.
No, he's not listening at all. At all. The other piece I wanted to ask you about is, did you watch the Grammys at all?
Last night, I fast forwarded to see if any of the performances were good.
I didn't watch them. Were they good?
No. I don't think there's one that I completely sat through. And it was funny for me because other than the Black Keys, I was telling Jordan Renee this. She was here that day before it aired. Mm-hmm. Other than the Black Keys, I'm actually not positive that I've listened to any music that came out in 2014.
Or the music that they're recognizing. Right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, because when I got my car this summer, it came with like satellite radio, and that's how they hook you. So I kept it.
Right.
So all I listen to in the car is 50s on 5, 60s on 6, 70s on 7, 80s on 8.
Are you serious?
90s on 9.
Wait a minute. Are you serious about the 50s on 50?
50s on 5.
I know that, but I
Get it
mean,
right.
are you watching? Excuse me. Okay, sorry. 50s on 5. Is that your station?
Yeah.
I couldn't even start it until, I mean, honestly.
And I listen to Pop 2K.
That one's awesome, but I had to start at 70s on 70. At 50 and 60s, I just could not stomach. It was way. I was like, I might as well listen to the 20s on 2. I couldn't, and they don't even have that. I couldn't deal. I had to get. I was like, as far
that
I can go to
perfectly
7.
fits my buttons.
Oh,
5,
okay.
6, 7, 8. So I got them all.
Wait a minute, you have it organized by the buttons too? 5 is 50s on 5.
I have it in order. Yeah. No. 1 is 50s on 5. It goes
okay.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
But
did you put 5 for 5? Because
I just mean that there's 6 stations that I have plugged in.
I was about to say.
But I haven't listened to anything new, at least since the summer. And I don't really listen to the radio. So, like, other than things I might have jumped in on YouTube, like, I don't know any of the new stuff. And based on what I've seen, I don't feel like I'm missing much.
Well, I think you probably know some of the new stuff, but they don't recognize the stuff they don't recognize music that the people care about. I mean, They recognize whoever they want to recognize. And I feel like a lot of people who get upset about the Grammys, and, I think it is atrocity that they nominate, like, Iggy Azalea for Best Rap or things like this. But we also have to remember, it's like, they don't speak for us. Like, it's a group, a foundation of people, and who knows who's on this board. I'm sure you can find out. Who knows who picks and selects these things? They don't represent us. And they're like, they really need to recognize our artists and support. And sure, they should get awards. Like, I think we should award those people who produce good music. But the way that we really support them is we go out and we buy their albums and we go to their concerts and we recognize. That's how you recognize people's talent. Like, you attend and you give them your energy and you appreciate them and their artistry. So, I mean, like the Kanye West thing where he was about to snatch the thing from Beck. I was like, sure, Beyonce did have an album that made everybody go through the roof. But Beck has been producing, like, quality music since, like,
forever.
1993. So it's like his award, like when they didn't give Denzel the award for Malcolm X. This is like now, and they gave it to him for Training Day. Now is his time. Like, this is like the moment for Beck. Like, they shafted Beck I feel like for Odelay, they should have gave that man all the awards. But who am I? But anyway, yeah,
I felt like I was glad that when I fast forwarded, that moment was so quick that I missed it. And I wondered, like, when did that happen? I see Beck, but I don't see Kanye. And when I heard that he did that, I just got upset. I thought it was lame when he did it to Taylor Swift, but it just made me feel like we've been here before. It was really disrespectful when you did it the first time.
Right.
And some might say you were, like, not in your right mind. But the fact that he would do it again, I'm probably more upset than I should be at a person that I don't know and hasn't done anything to me personally.
Right.
But it's just really, to me, that just seemed like so not classy and really disrespectful. Like, okay, you slipped once, whatever. Beyonce made it right. And, Taylor, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about any of those 3 people. It just wasn't right. But I mean, to do it again. When I heard that, I was like, that's just disrespectful. Like, I can't even laugh about that. Like, It's just not.
And the fact that it's
not cute.
He wasn't on stage. He, like, walks. It's the fact that he has the audacity, if I understand this properly, to walk up the steps and do, like, bro, you're not even supposed to be getting up right now. Like, this is like the church service, the benediction. Sit down, friend. You're not supposed to be getting up. Like, this is not, I don't understand what you're thinking. And then the little interview afterward that I heard him say, like, Beck, something about Beck's artistry. I just think the way that he speaks, like, there's a way, and I think here's a good example. So Lettucey and Beyonce, right? So the whole piece of Lettucey not being performing the opening and all that. I feel like Lettucey in a very classy way, basically said, like, hey, I didn't really know anything about this, but Beyonce is a new generation. And she, in a very classy way, basically said, like, yeah, it's a little messed up, but she's new. Support her and all these things. And I think she handled it well. Now, and for Kanye, I feel like Kanye needs to learn, like, some tact, but that's not who he is. And that's not, he's shock value. He's married to shock value princess. And I spoke against Kim Kardashian very illy in a text message group this past week. And I'm going to bring it down because Kim Kardashian needs our love and help and not our condemnation. So apologies to Kim Kardashian. And Kanye West needs our love as well because I mean, what the heck? What the heck?
He can do his shock value stuff and whatever. And I think do it on your own time. I just think it's so disrespectful.
On his own platform, right?
Yeah,
like, his own music platform, or whatever you want to do.
Through your channels, whatever. Right. Whip out your cell phone, live tweet during the awards. I don't care.
Right.
But I think, like, he would never stand for that. And he would think it was so disrespectful. Right. He'd probably put a hit out on that person. Like,
No,
so I just found that to be
not a hit.
Look, I don't know what he's capable of.
I don't think he is involved in those type of organized.
I think he's a wild card. Once his mom passed, I think it just nosedive.
Yeah,
but I just found it so
it's extremely disrespectful.
So disrespectful,
especially since. I don't know if he knows Beck personally, but it's just like this man won the award, and I didn't listen to his album. I don't know what he did. But he won it. That is what's been decided. And he's actually a very good artist. So
he is.
They don't like Kanye either. Listen,
they don't like him either.
They're very angry.
I don't know. I haven't listened to the new album either. But even if it's not the greatest ever, it's kind of like you said about Denzel. It's like, this is his award. This is his lifetime achievement. This is his
should have got it a long time ago
because he's done some.
Right. And Beck has done some great music. Denzel did some great music. Halle Berry did some wonderful things. What?
You said Denzel did some great music.
He does do some great music. Have you seen him walk? Okay. Sounds like music to me. That's how you pick up a slip up.
Your dog agreed.
Yeah, she's like, you messed that up.
She's like, yep.
Yep, you messed it. Yep, we love Denzel. Yep.
So on that angry note, I think we're done for the week.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was supposed to out you about Shame because you watched it again after we talked about the.
Look how you made time for that.
Yeah. Look how you made time. Hey, everybody. Alaia watched Shamed again. Excuse me, not Shamed. Alaia watched Shame again.
I wasn't going to watch it. And I text Brandi and I was like, I'm thinking of watching Shame. And she's like, I'm going to tell on you. And I'm like, there's nothing to tell. I'm just thinking about it. I didn't say I was going to do it. And she's like, I'm going to tell on you anyway. And then I'm like, well, might as well watch it.
It's so awesome. What is this, like your 13th time?
Maybe 7, 8.
And that leads me to the point where you're very serious about your NC-17 films and how you feel about 50 Shades of Grey. And I feel like we should save that for another episode.
Let's save that for another episode. Yeah. Let's save that for after it comes out.
I want you to be able to talk about it because I know how serious you are about your ratings. And if they're gonna go there,
but I think you agree with my sentiments.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I feel the same way. If we're gonna go hard in the paint, let's go hard in the paint.
All right, we'll talk about 50 Shades of Grey next week.
All right, friends. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
18 to 49.
This is for you, Alaia. I know you're gonna love it. Turn out. Alaia got turned up on a Tuesday, making out in the parking lot is groovy. Pockets going up on a Thursday. Alaia's broadcast voice is super sassy. Pockets going up on a Thursday. We talk about TV and movies. Pockets going up on a Thursday. Alaia's broadcast voice is super sassy. Pockets going up. 51 shows and I stack now. Talking in a mic. Then shows us back to back to back now. Put the world on Vikings. History Channel, we get deep in. You know we always make time to watch shows on the weekend. We record on Wednesday. It always goes down. We bring people on our show. They make us laugh out loud. Brandi loves TLC. Alaia makes the grossed out sounds. Then up to the show. It makes the world go round. Sometimes we get too deep. The things we say might be too true. On the screen we have Idris SVU, The Affair. You have a lot to do. So we watch them for you. Show's a ton of fun. Make us number one. When we record next Wednesday, we'll look back on this and think how Alaia got turned up on a Tuesday. Making out in the parking lot is groovy. Pockets going up on a Thursday.
podcast. Voice is super sexy. Podcast